Hi everyone, welcome to part 13 of my Disney Infinity War series, and this is part 5 of my Wakanda level and the last one. So we'll have this whole level complete in this particular clip. But before we do that, what I'm going to show you here is I've created Wakanda using the Lion King power discs, but you could use the same concept for any level. So I'm just going to change the power discs in and chuck a few ones in here. So let's just put we'll put in the Wreck-It Ralph ones. So instantly, by changing that, the whole level instantly changes, and all the terrain tools instantly change as well. So within a quick 2 seconds, I have now a totally different type of level. Yeah, and instead of being Marvel characters, it could be the sugar people attacking the city. Whatever it is, you can change the city, the rules around, and this is what I quite like with Disney Infinity. You can just change it. Now I'm going to chuck this one in. This is the Wally discs. Okay, and I'm looking at this thinking, what could Wally be? Now I think this could be a good one to use for the Titan planet, Thanos' home world. Could be quite a good one to do. And again, it's the same logic. There's a big battle, so you could use this and transform your whole level to be a Titan. Probably get rid of the the Aladdin cave entrance and make it more interesting. But this is all Titan, all destroyed and all wrecked. And we'll put the Frozen one on. Now I know it's topical with Frozen at the moment. Some people absolutely can't stand it, but it's a really good snow level. So it could be a Christmas theme where you're trying to attack Santa's grotto's being attacked and you need to defend it. Or you could be the other way, you're attacking the other options. If anyone's seen the film Scrooge, you have a machine gun fight at the beginning at Santa's grotto. Is quite good. But the one thing I do like about the Frozen power discs, yeah, is that if you choose the big tree option, they have some really good trees, yeah. And this particular one, which is the Fantasy Train 3, if you look on this, there's a real good tree set. So I quite like that, and it looks quite good just for that alone. But you can just have one level, change power disc, it's a totally different type of level, different characters, without having to do too much work, which I quite like about this. It's just really handy. Now, another one that most people have got, the Star Wars ones, yeah. So again, what we could do is we could change the buildings at the back, and we could make it like a Jedi temple. It could be the last Jedi temple, or something like Order 66 or something like that. So we put the Felucia, if I can pronounce that correctly, we'll put that on. So we've now got this as a Star Wars level, and all we have to do is change the enemies to be stormtroopers or to be droids, and we've got a massive battle. A couple of you asked me to do a Geonosis level. Geonosis theoretically is the same logic as this, but I do understand the difference with that is we want to have the circular planets. So I'm having to think about that if I could do something like that, but it works quite well. And this is the Hulk power disc that I've just put on, and this could be the end battle in Endgame, yeah, where the city's all been, the whole base has been destroyed, and we've got the final battle with all the water leaking. And I haven't changed anything. All I've done is put power discs on. And you already have those that don't have the power discs. You can still change the terrain. You could do different castle ones. So it's quite apt that quite quickly you can just transfer it all really quickly and get a totally different type of level. I do think that is so clever with Disney Infinity and how that works. Now, as this is the final stage, I'm using Captain America, and he's using his power disc clothes to look like in the 1940s, which is really cool. It's a shame they didn't do a power disc with, obviously it's closed by then, but him in his black suit with his short shields, that would have been quite good. But in this level here, we're going to focus on these landmines, yeah? So we're going to focus on these mines where we're going to blow them up. We're also going to focus on additional enemy. So I'm just going to start this all off just to show you. And obviously the final boss fight scene as well at the end. So go through our ships, have them all crash down, and have the attack. Good old Captain America. I do think his shield thing's quite cool, and he fights really well. It's a shame though the power disc doesn't work on the new Captain America. When they released it, that would have been quite cool, because it would have been good to have him without the helmet on. Right, so these are all dying. Let's send the troops in. So we've done all this logic where we've done the troops. The troops now turn up. So we're just going to make the battlefield come to life with these big giant mines. Yes, my troops are ready to help defend us. And I want these mines here, so when they come on, I'm going to attract some of the enemy to come over to the mines. That when I hit this, they blow up. Now, obviously, they don't die, which is what I don't want them to. I just want them to be thrown off. Here he comes, right, here comes one, right, off he comes, he's going to be coming in, come on, don't get distracted, boom, and off he goes flying over here. There he is on the floor. Cap's coming through. We'll do a special move here. I like the special move on the other Captain America because he has Thor's lightning comes off his shield, and that'd be quite a good one to use in the end game. And again, you don't have to use these characters, you can pick any character, so you could have a droid battle. But the whole logic, so we've done the Wakanda battle, but you could do a Star Wars one, and it's just by changing a few little backdrops, and it's exactly the same type of thing. But just remember, don't go too big on the map. When you want a big battle, because of the logic, you've got to keep it compact, which will heighten the fighting. You're going to go from one character next. You don't realise you're only fighting 6. Like, I got blown up big time there. So we're going to show you those, because those things are the easiest things to do, and there's very little logic with those, which is quite handy. I'll do a little bit of fighting on here. I think I even damaged my own shield here at this particular point. Now I'll show you also with Captain America, you have to parry his shield to get a direct hit. If you do that perfectly, you get hit. Now I've been playing the new Star Wars Fallen Order, and that's a similar thing. You have to parry at the correct time. And I've been playing on a particularly hard level. Oh, it's driving me insane. I keep saying play it on easy, but I want us to feel like I've justified completing the game. It's really hard. Very good. I like it, so it's a good game. But if you had to choose your best Star Wars game, okay. So we've got EA with Battlefront 2, which is quite good. But most people forget that Disney Infinity, I think, have got the best Star Wars games by far. The AT-AT chase scenes on Hoth.
No, you don't.
I think the whole Disney Infinity Star Wars levels are absolutely brilliant. And has anyone also unlocked the clone fighter? I haven't done that one yet. I've got to complete all something on gold, so that's one thing I'm planning to try and do so I can unlock that ship. Do you see that perfect block there? Let's do it again. So can I do it again? No. So you just got to time it out perfect. Oh, and I might as well get White Tiger to join us.
Good, my friend.
Get her to attack in. She's another one I haven't used. And she did a lot more kicking than the others, and she suits quite well with the Wakanda theme, I thought. Part of the Royal Guard. She really did like beat them all up. Like, oh, well done, thank you very much. Now we've got some more clips obviously to come. We've got one more of the Infinity War level, and that's going to be how to jump to start a star. Slightly put out of sequence slightly, but don't worry. We then are going to do a big giant playthrough of all the Infinity War levels, but that's not going to come until the new year, because I believe the next one I'm working on, it's between like a Cannibal Run one, or it's going to be my Hoth heist. You know, so not Hoth heist. What am I going on about? I'm going about the Han Solo train heist. Yeah, I'm going to try and work on that one. I've got most of it finished. I just want to create the final logic bits done. All the things have been worked out, so it's just going to now set those clips up. So they're the ones that I'll probably do first before I do those planets. But we will keep coming back to this. But just to try and mix it up a bit. Oh, he went flying on that one. Where did he land? I think he's behind me. There he is. Use a shield, block it. It's not too bad. So like I said, the areas that we're working on is we're working on the mines, we're working on some additional mens. Now, as a little cheat, if you look at the top of the screen, you saw a little flash. I'm just going to head over there. Right, these enemies here appear at the side of the base. This is to make it harder, so I didn't want them to spend all the time running all up. So what we've got here is on either side of the base, about after 2.5 minutes into the game, these enemies at the side start appearing, and that's to get more people getting to the final base to make it harder for you. Because you could go on it. So it was to increase the difficulty, get the battle going, and then get them swarming in so you seem like you're overcrowded. So we're going to show you that as well, and then obviously the final boss fight, which theoretically we should lose, but that's what we will do. Now we could do it the other way round. Right, we could do it the other way round where we're attacking the base. We've got to get through.
We've been defeated.
Now we've got the boss fight. Here we come. No, I know it's Green Goblin, but we've got to say it. Picture it, it's Thanos. Here we go. Oh, use your shield, block it. Come on. He's blocking, but he's not doing anything. Come on, block it. Does look quite cool.
Looks like I've got front row seats for this show.
Right, this is, I think, probably one of the easiest things to apply to any of your battle games. Yeah, it's not as complicated as the ships or anything. So I'll show the mines. We're obviously going to do about 8 of them, but they're quite quick to do. And there we go. Our mission is over. So let's get this level finished. Right, so hopefully your level now is at the same stage as this, and we are now going to create the landmines. Okay, now you'll see here, before I do the landmines, I'm going to go and find my boss tool, because you can't put anything inside the boss area. So I'm just going to go and get my, where is it, the enemy boss, the boss fighters thing. It's quite a large box. So I'm looking at the area that I'm going to place this. So if I look like that we don't put our mines there, we're going to be okay. Yeah, so I'm just going to get a rough idea where that's going to be, just the side. So we're going to go around the edge, and I want these to be closer towards the front. Now, what I did notice that some of the enemies get caught inside the Aladdin's cave, so the mines were there to throw them off to the side, so they make it slightly easier. So if you go into gameplay toys, and you'll notice here I went the wrong flipping way again. Always, it doesn't matter if I go the right way; it's always the wrong route that I do. Left or right, always go the wrong side. And you'll find these little things, and there's this Asgardian catapult trap. Now you should be able to unlock it using your credits, because it was in Disney Infinity 2. Now I did try this little thing, but that wasn't the one I wanted, because although it was a big spring, it's too small and it's hard to get it exact. This is quite larger, and you can put an effect right in the centre of this spot, and you don't have to do anything. Right? It automatically resets itself. You just place it down, it's an instant catapult. Right? The only thing we're going to do is that I don't just want them thrown in the air, I want an explosion to look like they landed on a mine. So what we've got to do is, we don't want to force the enemies backwards, because they could be stuck in a loop, keep landing on the same mine, so we're going to throw them to the side. These are little areas in the corner I find they get stuck, so when they land on here, it'll throw them to the side and direct them to the steps. Occasionally you've seen it in the clips that I've shown you in the past, they still get stuck right in the corner. There's nothing I can really do about that. But we will do these, and we're just going to rearrange them, and we just scatter these around. So where do we want them to appear? That one will go back over there. So I'm either throwing them to the side, they come running in, it'll jump to the side, make them closer to that particular point. Okay, really easy, and this is one of the easy effects to do. Right? It's just knowing which tool to use and how you want it to appear. Now there are some other tools, actual landmines, which you can physically see, yeah, and you can deactivate these things if they're not working. But you can scatter them all across, and you can have these landmines only work for the enemy, or you could have them random, some work, some don't, just to confuse them. Right, so we'll put this on here. We'll have one more, send that one back a bit so they come over here, and it'll force them back into the screen. So could get like a daisy chain on that one. So they're all the landmines I'm going to put on, and you can put more in. Yeah, it's not a problem on there. Okay, so what we're going to need to do, okay, is we're going to need to have an effects generator to have some sort of explosion. Okay, so just to set these all up, I'm going to put effects generator next to each one. Right, this is purely for our benefit, so we know which one we've done. Now we're doing them all at the same time, but you only need one per landmine. You'll see we'll go through. That's that one. Has everyone got one? There's a good little telltale time if you've done it. And that's the last one. Sorted. Okay. That's easy done. We now need a locator. Okay, locator set up, so we'll set that item there on the screen. Each one needs a locator, so I'm just putting one by each one. And we don't care about the dot in this case because it's an explosion. We don't care which way the explosion appears. So, but again, the explosions help with the effect that the battle's going off. There's things blowing off around the side. It adds more chaos without trying to overload the system. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we need to link those locators to the effects generator. So new locator, and link them back to each one of those. Really easy, piece of cake to do. And I think out of the whole Wakanda level, this is the one people are going to go, right, I love this one. It's so easy to do, very quick. There's not much depth to it, and it's done. It's a self-contained thing as well, by the way. Nothing triggers these off, they run themselves. And that's a lovely little thing I like about this little one. So we'll link that one to there. So I'm doing all these at exactly the same time, but again, just to remind you what you have to do. I went the wrong way round, should go to the locator. Sometimes that tricks me when I'm doing these late at night. Yeah. So we'll change that one, new locator connection. Okay. We're almost there, done. Right, so they're all set up. Just double check. You can tell you've done them because they'll all have a line joining to them. Perfect. So we know where the effects are going to appear. Now I've left them not on where I want them, just so we can see them first. So if we point to the tool, you've got a new logic connection, right? Right. Before there, we've got properties. You've got a cooldown time of 10 seconds. So what we could do here is, you could, once it goes off, there'll be 10 seconds before it resets, and you can switch it to a team, which means it only affects a particular team. Yeah, it's okay if you're on this team, you're not going to get damaged. So you can change that over as well. I've left it for everybody because I want it to be not advantage for anyone. It's an explosion, and you've all been hit. You'll be all been thrown about. So you've got a reset or triggered. So okay, so when we trigger the catapult, right, which is simple as that, can we go to that effects generator? Play once, by the way, because that's the only way you're going to get the huge explosion. Can we have a huge explosion? That will now blow up where the locator is. Now I've done that, let's move the locator in the center of the spot. We know we've done that one. That's it, done. That's your logic, all sorted. Self-contained, runs. I've now just got to do that for all the others. So click on each one, new logic connection. When it's triggered, when it throws you off, play an explosion, play once. Explosion huge. Okay, go across onto there, pull that item back in. Fantastic. Yeah, and we have that cool effect. Now I know a couple of things I've been talking about in this is to do with Dreams, because Dreams is the big thing that's probably going to try and replace Disney Infinity, and I have to say it's an amazing program. But to have an explosion, you've got to create all the effects, and it's just like way too big, and I think it's too much of a minefield. So I'm not going to preach on about Dreams anymore. I think I've covered it. Yeah, I still love Disney Infinity. I still play Disney Infinity. I'm still going to keep doing these levels, yeah. And I just hope Warner Brothers, who did actually buy the company, by the way. I know when they got sacked and they lost a lot of staff, Warner Brothers bought the software and they bought the company, a small version of that company. We have no idea what they've been doing since, but if they did their own version, and I mentioned this a couple of times in previous clips, they could do their own thing called The Matrix, because they've got James Bond, you've got the Matrix characters, you've got Harry Potter characters you can use. So just Warner Brothers could be really good. You've also got the DC characters. They've got a few rights themselves. It'd be quite cool if they had their versions of that. Just hope and pray. Because I'll tell you one thing, there is not a game out there that allows people to play together and in a constructive way. I mean, most of them are on your split screens, but you'll play in the same open world, and the different variations of games you can come up with is really good. I've been working on a side-scrolling level. I'm trying to get that right, and I have plans for that. But that there is coming, and I although there's been breaks between my clips, yeah, I still play around with it, try and work out different things, and if I think they're good enough, I'll show you and give you a go. But I will always keep coming back to it. I just hope it won't be a longer break that I had last time. Right. So they're all now done, so all we're going to do is we're going to move these locators out, these effects out the way, so I'm going to hide those. It was a pity we couldn't get rid of the enemy, what that leads the guides. I keep referring to the trail thing, not trail thing. You can't hide those, it's a bit of a shame, but it's not too bad. But all I'm going to do is move all these. It doesn't take that long at all. How easy is that? Now these can be tested straight away, by the way, because like I say, they're all self-contained. They do their own little thing. Everything else is triggered and leads from when one thing starts to the next that fires the next option. But these are just self-contained. You run on one of those, you're going to get blown up. But it is a cool effect. Now you could do part of your level that you've got to collect a number of tokens, and the number of tokens will activate these traps. And if you don't get enough tokens in time, then they're not activated, so therefore they're not going to work. Or they are activated, but they're only for yours. You just change which team they're on. Just again, different ideas you could use. Right, I've got one more to move. That really didn't take that long at all. 10 minutes to set all those up. Sorted. That's it. All done. What we can do is we can just do a quick test. So I'll get the Captain America. Mr. America, have run as he runs on the mine. Boom! He goes flying into the air, explosions. Bang! And that's it. How cool are they? Boom! Woo-hoo-hoo. So that adds to the excitement. Not bad, eh? Right. So the other little thing we're going to do is we're going to spruce up the battle. Yeah. And what we're going to do here is at the side of these groups at the side, we want some extra enemy to appear. Okay, so we've had all these little tools down here. We've got these enemies appearing, but we're going to repeat and have another set of enemy appearing. So we're going to keep those independent. This is going to be a totally new set. So we're going to get the enemy generator, and we're going to do 3 either side. So I need 6 of these. Okay, so I'm going to create 6 of these little items. I'm just again organising it in a way, and you'll see I put little gaps so I can see one on one side and one on the other. I have a little notepad where I sketch or write little notes down or ideas so I can come back because I can't remember stuff. So when I'm thinking these up, I'll put these little logics in, so if I come back to this I can go, okay, that's what I did. I always find that works. Okay, so we've got again logic gate here that triggers it off. Right, and then we need the locators as well. Now the locators are slightly different here. They're not facing the city. These are going to be sideways. Yeah, so we're going to grab a locator and we're going to twist them to the side. So grab this locator here. There we go. Right. So if we twist this round, so we'll put that one on there. Let's go in and have a look. Is that pointing in the right direction? The white dot is in the right side because they're going to come from the side. So that's perfect. We'll copy that. So we'll move this one over, and then I need to twist it round. And then just click onto it again with the tool so you should see the dots down the other side. Perfect. And create 2 of those. Again, look how quick this is taking to do just to finish off the level. So each of these locators have got to be connected to the enemy. So new locator connection connected to the enemy generator. And we do each one of those. Perfect. Okay, so that's them. Do that for all of them. Well, it flies by now. We're whizzes at this. Another cool thing I like about Disney Infinity as well is that you can be both have you and your colleague can be both making this at the same time, which is brilliant. So good. Right. So new logic connection on output from this one. Can we generate an enemy? So we're going to have to go all the way down to the Spider-Man one. Okay, going to go down to the symbiont grunt, and we're going to do that again. Now you could, if you wanted to, have a more harder creatures come in if you wanted to make it a bit more tougher for yourself. Spider-Man again. Now one thing I find is that when you create level, you'll get put off because you think, oh, I haven't got the time to build this. You know, it's going to take me forever. They don't take that long. I mean, it's a nice way of distracting yourself, but I don't think when you build a level, they're not actually as long as you think they're going to be. But be wary if you're doing your first one. My first level, I did a massive open Tatooine type level. It just didn't work. It was really pants, and that's when I realised you want to keep them smaller, and then they actually start getting easier to work on. And I think just play around with it, but they don't actually take that bad. It's a thought that it's going to take me forever. It doesn't actually work that bad. And use these as an example to build them. So build away, copy one of these levels, and this one's probably I think it's got a few little complicated things, gives you a good little introduction to them all, and used to building tools. So they are all set up. Now one thing we need to do with these, by the way, is we need to change when they're generated. So we say when it's defeated, so when they're defeated, we need to input a signal back in, and that means they will carry on respawning. So each time an enemy is defeated, input back into logic gate, which will send the signal back to the enemy generator, which will tell it to respawn again, so it will constantly keep reappearing. Okay, got to do that for all of these. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so that now spawns all those off. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, right, on output, can we input a signal here? So that logic gate to the side there will trigger the second wave of enemies to appear. And it's just the one item. So I chuck in a lot of logic gates here, just so I know these are my trigger points. Yeah, you could link it to every single one of those gates, but then I only have to focus with the one gate. And I find use as many logic gates as you like. It's a real good way of using them laid out. Right, flick that switch, and that will then send all the signals out to these items. Okay, so that's all set up. Okay, so let's go all the way over here for a second. Okay, now going back to one of my early clips, we have this is what triggers all the ships coming down. So that does the first ship, the second ship, the third one, and this timer here brings the enemies to start attacking. So what we're going to do is we're going to give it another time. So let's copy that, and we'll have another one of these. Okay, so what we'll say here is new logic connection. Yeah, when delay complete, can we trigger this time? So start delay. So the battle now, they're appearing, and we're going to say, right, what we're going to do is give it a time. So how long are we going to start this off? So we can say, right, give it 3 minutes. Yeah. Now this is in seconds, so 3 minutes is 60, so it's going to be 180. Yeah. So I've got 3 minutes there, and we'll say, right, when the delay's complete, can we go and input into that particular gate? Okay. So we're going to say, can you go input in there, and that will then start the side enemies. So the battle should have got started. So I've got a couple of things now. I've got to position these locators, and we want these to come from the side, so they've already sneaked in. Now be careful, don't do them too deep into the forest. I mentioned this on the other one, because they'll get trapped in there. They can't get out. You've got to make sure they can move out. Yeah? So be wary of that. Okay? Dun, dun, dun. Let's put that there. So I've got nice little gaps there. So the reason why I've got them branching like that, some nice little gaps. And again, how long has this taken? Not that long at all to chuck these in. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, those are still listening, by the way, because see how long you last at the end. There is a Mandalorian one coming, but I'm doing a bit of a mishmash of Mandalorian, so I'll keep that surprise for you. Because there was a thing I did on this particular level that I couldn't get to work, which I'm going to use for that, and it's quite a cool little feature. But I'll try to tie it in with the TV show without giving anything away. And even if you haven't seen the TV show, I'm still not going to give anything away. But it's more about bounty hunting. But we'll get to that one soon. Right. So that is it set up. Now we're going to do the enemy generator. Now one thing I forgot to do with those gates, by the way, I'll hopefully come back to that in time. Let's get our boss tool. Right. And I forgot to show it here, but we'll go down the box. Let's put the enemy plate in. Right, so I want it to appear in the middle. So that is where my enemy boss is going to appear here on the screen. Perfect. Right, and when you press that on, by the way, I always get scared because I always think it's going to crash. Yeah, it's always going to go, oh, I forgot to crash it. Yeah, it's a pause while it sets it. Now what you need to do is you need to change the properties of the controller, and you need to choose which enemy you want to appear. So we're going to go and pick the Green Goblin. Right, so that's now going to appear in there. Okay, so that's perfect. So we now want that to be triggered when this item here finishes on the end. So when that is destroyed, we want the Green Goblin to appear on the screen and attack us. Alright, so I'm going to create a little logic gate here. That's going to help us on the screen. And this logic gate is going to go in this particular part. Okay, so what we're going to do now is new logic collection. Right, when that is destroyed, right, what we want to do is we want to trigger this. So we're going to go on input, what do you want to do? Okay, now that allows us to move it around. So we're going to say new logic connection, on output, can you go and trigger the turn that on? and that will now get our boss to appear. Now theoretically your level could be finished like that, yeah, but I want to get rid of all the other ones, so it's just a solo fight like it was in the film. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a few little things here. Now just be aware that second wave of enemies, by the way, made a little bit of a mistake, and I need to point it out to you. So just I'll remind you in a moment, we still need to finish off those enemy things just slightly, otherwise it'll cause us a bit of grief. Okay, so I've just brought this logic gate to this side here because what I'm going to do now is I am going to switch off any remaining enemy are going to disappear, right? Because what I'm thinking is Thanos arrives, he flicks his fingers, or he Thanos arrives, I don't need anyone else can go. So what I'm going to do here is on output, yeah, can you remove all those, so anyone's there, can you remove them? So if there are 4 or 5, get rid of them all. So new logic connection, on output, can you remove them all? Now it's slightly different with the enemy disc, because with the enemy disc, when you get rid of them, they respawn again. So we're going to have to close the gate, and then we've got to do the remove settings. So we'll just show you this at the moment. So our ones don't respawn. Once our soldiers are gone, that's it. We're on our own. Yeah, that's to make it a bit more really difficult. So we're going to move all. I'll move this to over the side. So I just keep moving this around, so I know which bit I'm doing. Okay. And again, same thing it goes. So get rid of any of my troops that left. Thanos is going to get rid of them all in one go. Yo. Again, doesn't take too long. Cool, so they are now all my enemies gone. Now you could leave it difficult for yourself that the other enemies stay in. Thanos' army is still there and that would be done. But I just wanted the solo fight at the end with Thanos. But you could say, no, I want all the other enemies to keep staying there because it's you are going to lose this, yeah? So I'm just going to place this here. Okay. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to say, right, once we've defeated Thanos, yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to close all those 6 gates, yeah, and by closing those gates means that when an enemy dies, they won't respawn. So I'm going to new logic connection, on output, can you now close that gate? And I have to do it for all these and the other 7 as well. Now while I repeat doing this and you see me doing it on the screen, I forgot to do something with these enemy generators. I forgot them to set them for Team Purple. So you have to change the properties of those to Team Purple, otherwise they'll start attacking Thanos. So these side menu enemies here need to be on Team Purple. Not Team Purple, sorry, Team Blue. Oops, nearly got that wrong. I hope you haven't jumped. I hope you saw the whole clip, otherwise you'd have missed that vital bit of information out. So yeah, you need to change those enemy generators to be Team Blue, because that's to match the symbiont level. Okay, otherwise they'll get attacked by Thanos and everybody else. Now, depending on what you want to do, is you could just leave it switched on. It's up to you. Now I'm going to move this over here because I'm now going to do the same thing now and close all those gates and none of these enemies. So new logic connection, on output, can you close that gate? Alright, new logic connection, on output, close that gate. And once this is done, by the way, this is it. This is the level complete. Finished. So while I'm just doing this, I'm also going to talk about The Mandalorian as well. I've just seen episode 5 of The Mandalorian. And I'm not going to tell anything about it, but they go to Tatooine. Well, I told you a little bit about it. They go to Tatooine, and there are some lovely touches. Now, that is what I think is how they should do Star Wars. Little subtle touches that just remind you this is Tatooine. When you go to Tatooine, you see the view of Tatooine, the same view that Luke Skywalker and Obi-Wan could use. They go into the same canteen as well. So there's nice little touches there, but it's a fresh story. It's just, we don't have to repeat the same thing. It's a separate story, and that is why I'm liking it so far. So I like the original, brilliant, awesome. So if you get to see it, it's great. Right, we're going to do another logic gate here, by the way. Now we've got them all closed. So we're going to say new logic connection, on output, can we input in here? Now what we're going to do with this one is, now we've closed all those gates, yeah, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to clear off all the enemy. Now you might want to leave them in there until they've gone, they've gone. So you could say, well, I'm going to just leave that. You don't need this additional feature here. You could just say, well, the other enemies will stay, but once they're dead, they've gone. Yeah? So they won't respawn. But what I'm going to do is say, no, can you remove them all? And I'm going to take these all out. So new logic connection, on output, and then just do removal. Okay. Now, any of those that do actually build this level, let me know how you got on with it. Tell me, did you find it easy to follow? Did you do any different slight adjustments or changes to it? What did you add to it? What did you mix it up with? Did you go for more enemies? Did it work? So like I say, too many enemies, you'll find that enemies start appearing and they're invisible and then they don't die, so be wary of that. But if you do recreate this, let me know, tell me how it went, what you did, what twists you did to it. Was it a Wakanda level, or was it a Star Wars level? Always interested. Always, I say, I do read all your comments. I try and reply to all of them. Okay, just do this last one, and once these are done, we are finished. Okay, cool. Just get these last ones done and everything's sorted. So just removing them all out. New logic connection. I preach this a lot, by the way, because it's vital. Keep saving as you go along. Yeah, keep saving as you go along. It's extremely important. It only crashes when you've done loads and not saved it. That's the only time. I think it's to teach you a lesson. Okay, last one done, and we are ready to party. There we go, perfect. And then I'm going to move that back with the other one so I can see those. So it's just so I know where that logic is. Again, keeping it nicely organised. Perfectly done, sorted. That, everybody, is your Wakanda level. All done, all finished, all ready to go. Oh, one last thing. Oh yeah, forgot about that. When the box defeats, I want you to be aware that, oh my god, they defeated the city, or they've got the crystal. Yeah. So there is this narrator, announcer, or so what we're going to do here is we're going to say, right, when we get that signal, we know they've defeated it. So to new logic connection on output, can we get it to shout out something? Right. And there's a couple of set phrases they've done. I mean, to me, they could have created so many at this time. Why they limited to so few, I don't know. So you could do enemy at treasure, we're under attack, but we're going to say enemy defeated, or what do I go for? We're under. Let's have a look. Activate, deactivate. What do we go? We've been defeated. There you go. We'll have it shout out. We've been defeated. Now we've done. Now that is your Wakanda level all ready to go. I hope you like this level. Thanks for watching this, and I'll get on to the next level as soon as possible. Cheers guys, speak to you all soon. Cheers.